Hey, what's going on? It's Chris Aiken, editor and owner of Music's Bottom Line. Thanks a lot for picking up the CD. The greatest hits of Music's Bottom Line. I guess this would be Volume 1, because we've got enough to do. Probably 3 more, but we'll see where this one goes before we do anything further. Now, in case you don't know, Music's Bottom Line is an all-music magazine. We cover everything, all styles, all genres, local, national, big, small, doesn't really matter. We just go for music coverage because we're trying to give you, the fan of music, an outlet, since basically the rest of Cleveland sucks as far as music coverage. Now, if you've ever read Music's Bottom Line, you've probably figured out that we don't exactly do things by the book. Very rarely will you ever see any of our writers come off with some stupid questions like, so, where did you record this at, and how was it to work with this producer, or any of that garbage that really nobody cares about anyway. It's our thought that the perception is that everybody out there wants to kind of get into the lives of these rock stars a little bit. People want to know what it's like to have a room full of groupies waiting for them, or they want to know what it's like to have $10 million to spend, or they want to know what it's like to struggle on a tour bus and what keeps you going. Well, since we started in November of 1997, we came out with a goal, and that was to be as raw and as real as we could, to actually dig in a little bit deeper than the average guy goes in order to get the story that you guys would want to have. And needless to say, when we do that, we get some interesting results. What you're going to find here in Volume 1 is a whole lot of funny clips, serious clips, clips of us just asking questions that we should never, ever be allowed to ask, just all kinds of things that are just strange. I think it's pretty much a quality product. I hope you dig it. So just sit back, turn it up a little bit, get yourself a beer, and check it out. It's the greatest hits of Music's Bottom Line. One of the things that we had to do when we started Music's Bottom Line was we had to interview a bunch of, let's say, I don't know, let's just say less than big name bands. Alright, let's call it what it is. We had to interview a bunch of garbage that was never going to go anywhere. And we did it. And people read it, I guess. And some people didn't. We skipped right over looking for the bigger name stuff, but we still did that stuff. And since we did do that, we slowly but surely built up our reputation with the different record companies. And by doing that, now we get most of the big name stuff. Looking back at it, we've interviewed just about every big name band in the business. I mean, we've interviewed Limp Bizkit, we've interviewed Britney Spears, we've interviewed Korn and Kiss and Metallica and Journey and, any genre, pick your band, and we've pretty much interviewed them. But clearly, the biggest interview we've ever had in the history of Music's Bottom Line came with a true legend in the business, Bill Wyman from the Rolling Stones. Bill gave Tom Swope from Music's Bottom Line a call to talk about a solo record he had done after leaving the Rolling Stones, and Tom had a pretty interesting question to ask him. Bill, what was it like the first time you saw the Rolling Stones play? Here's what Bill had to say.
Now, the Stones are doing a slightly scaled-down tour. Does that stir anything within you, appeal to you at all? Obviously, they're playing slightly smaller halls.
Are they?
Yeah, I guess just arenas instead of stadiums.
But the prices have gone up even higher, haven't they?
Well, yeah, it's still $95 a ticket.
Oh, that's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh. I can't really comment on that,
Yeah.
I talked to Charlie about 3 weeks ago, 3.5 weeks ago. He called me from Paris just before they were leaving, and he was fine. He was his usual self, but I had a feeling he was sort of getting a bit tired of it too. I've got to go back on the road. It wasn't like, wow, we're on the road again. It was like, I've got to go back in 2 days. It was a bit sort of sad in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I've never had one moment of regret. I've seen the band live. I saw my first Stones concert. Well, I'd never seen them on stage.
Did you get a good seat?
Yeah, I did. It was at Wembley in '95, and I had a great time, but it didn't cross my mind once, I wish I was up there.
Mm-hmm.
It really didn't, and no one can believe it. They think I'm lying and all that, but it never crossed my mind. And because it wasn't us anymore, it was them and me, it wasn't, right. I wasn't associated anymore, so I was able to stand back and watch it like a punter, which I was at the time. So, no, I always say to people, we're not Spinal Tap, we don't do that sort of thing. I don't go because they always say, is there any chance of you joining the band when you're on stage in London, for a couple of numbers, It's not on because we're not Spinal Tap. We don't do that stuff.
Mm-hmm. And after 30-some years, you certainly experienced everything you could possibly experience, right?
Yeah, 31 years, it was great. But it was time to move on, and I'm so glad I did.
One of the coolest guys that I've ever had the opportunity to interview was ex-Judas Priest, ex-Fight, X2, now Halford vocalist Rob Halford. The guy was great. He's a true legend. I was actually a little trembly when I interviewed him just for the fact that I am a huge, 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 huge fan of all of his past work and present work, to be really honest. His new stuff is great. So I got on the phone with Rob, and I had to address some of the issues, some of the touchier stuff, because, you know, regardless of if I'm a fan or not, I gotta go for it. I gotta ask the questions that you guys, I think, want to hear. So at the time, this was on his first album, and I asked him point blank, I said, hey man, you're back to metal, are you going back to Priest? It was a fair question, he'll even acknowledge that, but his answer actually led into some interesting conversation about his replacement in Judas Priest, Tim the Ripper Owens. Here's what Rob Halford had to say.
I'm going to go into a couple touchy areas, if you don't mind.
That's okay.
First one I want to get into is the obvious. It seems like every time you record your voice anywhere or make a statement, the internet goes crazy and says, Rob's going back to Priest.
Yes, they do.
You know, I'm assuming there's probably not validity to that, but I'd rather get it directly from you.
Well, it's a fair question to ask because there's a lot of rumours flying around.
Mm-hmm.
All I'll say is that I am talking to Ken and Glenn and Ian now, and we're slowly rebuilding our friendship, and it feels great. There hasn't been any talk of a reunion.
Mm-hmm.
We're just very much involved in our own work. I know that Priest are hard at work on their next record with Tim.
Yeah.
And I've got my arms full with the Halford release and the touring schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So for the foreseeable future, we're both immersed in our own worlds, you know. But I'm just glad that me and Ken and Glenn and Ian are patching things up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's got to be hard to break away from friends that you've been with for 30 years.
Yeah, especially after spending 20 years of your life or more together.
Exactly. What do you think of the Tim era Priest?
Well, I always answer that question this way, which is, in all honesty, I haven't really heard anything from Priest with Tim. It's just too difficult for me emotionally to put my mind in that area, and that's not dissing Tim at all.
Yeah.
It's just that everything that I know and love about Priest is from when I was in the band, you know.
Right.
I do know that Tim does great work from what I've been told on the record and in live concert, and I'm grateful for Tim for being a part of the band and keeping Priest alive.
By now, I'm sure every single one of you listening to this CD has downloaded something that's audio in nature from the web. Hopefully it wasn't this CD, but I'm sure you've downloaded something. Well, at least one artist out there supports you doing that. Here's Tony from Eve 6 talking about how much his band loves Napster.
Last thing on my sheet, man, any final comments or things I missed or things you want to tell people? Or?
Basically, that we support Napster.
Yeah, very cool.
Napster's a good thing, and that also goes along with my the theory about the concert tickets, because, you know, if a kid downloads our whole album off Napster and doesn't buy it, you know, that's, maybe we don't get the record sale, maybe, but there's a good chance that he'll go to our show and buy our merchandise and become a fan, and that's really what's important to us, is having these fans. And there's too many artists are worried about making their buck off the record sales.
Mm-hmm.
But if the music's getting to people, then you're going to make your money. You know, the money will be made somehow. You're not going to, you know, starve to death because everyone's downloading your album off of Napster. You know,
exactly.
And that's definitely something we're very supportive of, and you know, we use it and like it, and I've gotten countless emails from fans that are new fans to us because of Napster and have bought our record because of Napster and have gone to our show because of Napster. So, you know, we thank it and we respect it and support it.
Here's a clip that's not necessarily surprising or anything, but it was just some good information, and being a Korn fan, I decided I'd throw it on here. Here's Monkey from Korn talking about why they got rid of Adidas and switched over to Puma.
What happened with Adidas?
Well, it was kind of like Puma made us like an offer, like, hey, you know, Adidas is like kind of everyone's wearing it. You know, we knew that.
Yeah.
And we were ourselves were kind of like getting tired of wearing all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, styles change. You know, when you turn 15, you don't still wear tough skins.
Yeah.
So we were wearing that stuff for like 5 years.
Okay.
Or more.
Yeah.
And we're just like tired of it. And we're like, well, you know, it may be a good move to, you know, we got a new record come out with kind of a new look. It's still the same stuff, but it's, you know,
just a different logo.
It's like the record. It's still Korn, but it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know, it's still the same sportswear and stuff, but it's just, and they're like willing to work with us.
That's
which
cool.
Adidas didn't want, you know, they didn't care what we thought.
Yeah.
It's like, here's free clothes.
Yeah.
And which we didn't think was very fair because half the nation started wearing the stuff.
Exactly, and it was all
We
sales.
weren't getting anything for it except the free stuff, which is cool, but we made them a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to really...
They didn't want to share.
Right.
If you're like me, you're absolutely sickened by the way Gene Simmons of KISS has just franchised the KISS name out and put the KISS logo on anything and everything he can. I mean, come on. KISS casket, KISS car, KISS condoms, KISS book, KISS coffee tables, KISS toilet paper, you name it. It's just stupid. When I caught up with Peter Criss from KISS, I just had to know why. Why, Peter? Why is everything out there got to have the KISS logo and name on it? Come on, dude, give us the scoop. Needless to say, he gave all the blame to Gene.
There's just an unbelievable amount of merchandise out there. I mean, I saw this weekend everything from toothbrushes to toilet paper to...
I know we went mad. We went crazy.
You know, are you guys consciously going for that this time to hit every market imaginable? Or?
Yeah, it's Gene. Gene's the maniac. And he'll call me up and he'll go, guess what? We got toilet paper. And I said, great, I can wipe my ass with your face. and he'll go, no, I'm real serious. And I go, you kidding me? He goes, no. And then he'll call me up and go, hey, we got underwear, or we got sneakers, or we got slippers.
Yeah.
And so he's, he doesn't stop. He's like consistently coming up with stuff, and we all go, okay, if that's what you feel you want to do, then we're all with you. And go ahead, knock yourself out. But I sure don't go out and call somebody and go, I want to put out toilet paper, or I want to put out Trojans.
Yeah, exactly.
But that madman is up and about, and he's calling all sorts of people, and he's always making these deals. And I'm like, great, I guess no one's never had toilet paper. And if I'm your worst enemy, you can always wipe your ass with me.
Exactly, that's cool.
It's always cool to go back through the tapes and find tape of a band before they were big. This is one I found of David from Disturbed, long before they were anything, right when they were just starting to get their nose out there a little bit, and they were getting ready to hit the Ozfest for the first time and hopefully blow up big. Caught David right when they were getting their first tour bus. Here's David from Disturbed.
Where are you guys going to be at, on the West Coast or East Coast? Or?
Kind of all over the place, actually. Tonight we're going to be in Omaha, Nebraska. We're going from there to La Crosse, Wisconsin, to Minneapolis, to Lawrence, Kansas, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Tucson, Arizona, Las Vegas, Nevada, Denver, Colorado, a little bit of everywhere and everything.
One big circle in the van before you get onto the Ozfest, huh?
You got it. Actually, it is no longer the van. It is now the bus.
Oh, you guys have hit the big time.
Yeah, we just got our bus last week.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Pantera fans forever have been wanting to know exactly why the band will not release their pre-Cowboys from Hell albums. There's 4 of them out there, and for whatever reason, they won't release them. So when I had Vinnie Paul on the line, I figured I might as well ask him. Here's his answer.
Why don't you guys acknowledge the pre-Cowboys albums?
Well, it's not that we don't acknowledge them, it's just the fact that generally people do not know Pantera from those records,
Mm-hmm.
Really a different Pantera. It's like the 80s Pantera and the 90s Pantera. And we've achieved our success and our acclaim from what we do in the 90s, not from what we did in the 80s,
Okay.
And that's just, to me, dude, let me tell you this. If we wanted to get rich, we could sell the rights to those records to Atlantic Records tomorrow for fucking $7 million, and we'd all be able to retire.
Yeah.
But I ain't interested in turning those over because, I got more integrity than that. You know, those are something that we did when we were very young, and we were emulating our favorite bands and trying to find our direction. You know, and to me, those are collector's items for the true fans that want to go dig that kind of stuff up.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. They're not bad records. I have 3 of them.
Dude, I'm not ashamed of them.
No, they shouldn't.
You know, I'm not downplaying them. It's just, hey, for me to go do Heavy Metal Rules off of Projects in the Jungle tomorrow night in front of 10,000 people, there might be a handful of people that know that song.
Yeah.
Sometimes band guys should just kind of keep quiet and not make any kind of statement about what they can and cannot do. Here's a good case in point. Here's me with Bruce Dickinson basically saying, I'm not going back to Iron Maiden, I don't need it. I asked him a simple question about an internet rumor about him possibly going back to Maiden back in the Blaze Bayley era, to which he him-hawed around before finally saying, I don't need that, I'm making great music. Hear it for yourself, it's Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden.
I was doing some online stuff, and I read that you had talked about a possible Iron Maiden reunion of some sort.
Oh yeah, no. This is the same sort of thing that happens all the time. What happens is somebody asks me a hypothetical question.
Okay.
They say, "What if, you know, blah 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 blah? What if the phone rang and somebody said, do you want to rejoin Iron Maiden?" And my reply was, "Yeah, you know, okay. If it was somebody said, let's go and do a few gigs, yeah, I wouldn't have a problem."
Okay.
And that gets turned into
I know, because what it said online was it was one of those like announcements. It says Dickinson talks of rejoining Maiden. I was like, huh?
Yeah.
You know?
No, I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm making great music. I don't need to do that, and it's the only, you know, and it's not something I could even engineer if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Because it's not my band, you know.
Uh-huh.
One of the joys of doing what we do, interviewing bands, is that we can kind of get past all the general garbage that's put out by the publicity departments telling us that everything is peachy keen and find out what's really going on behind the scenes. The funny thing is, when you interview a band and you ask them about it, and you ask them point blank instead of trying to tiptoe around it, generally they'll answer the questions. They don't seem to read what their publicists are putting out. They seem to just be willing to spew whatever's going on. Case in point, here's Poison's C.C. DeVille. Now, he had problems with the band, as everybody knows, which caused him to leave. And then he came back, but he wanted to do his solo project, Samantha 7. And Poison wasn't exactly receptive to it. But he kind of put his foot down. And we caught wind of it, and we just asked him. We said, hey, CeCe, we heard you quit the band again. Here's what he had to say, just letting it all spill for everybody to know. Here's C.C. DeVille.
Now, what about these rumors, I don't know, 6-7 months ago that you had left again and Tracy Guns was coming in and all that? Was any of that even true? Or?
Yeah, it was true. It was basically it all started about me wanting Samantha 7 to be on the bill.
Okay.
And I said, okay, well, listen, if you don't want to do Samantha 7 on the bill, well, then I still have to promote Samantha 7 because I have a label, and I was going to have to go promote Samantha 7 the summer tour. Mm-hmm. And then the label says, listen, don't worry about it. If you're going to do, you can do the Poison tour, and just promote, just like on the days off, promote the tour and do in-stores, and that'll be okay. Okay. But at that point, I didn't think I was able to, I thought the label was going to want me to promote Samantha 7 during the Poison tour, so I was going to have to do either one or the other. You know, so, but once the label said, no, do the Poison tour, you can do the Poison tour, and just try to do, but then I was like, okay, guys, I'm back.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this, was the label, I know John Kolodner is your guy, obviously, with the label. Were they upset when Poison didn't come back, like was very much rumored throughout the internet and throughout the industry?
To do what? To go with?
To sign with Kolodner with Portrait.
I think they were a little disappointed. Honestly, I do think they were. But with Poison is like a known thing. So I think that the guys in Poison wanted to get a lot more money.
Okay.
Than what I was willing, because of my reputation and because I believe in my songs.
Definitely.
I was willing to take nothing.
Yeah.
I wanted just how much money it took to do the album, and everyone was impressed with that because they knew that I had, it wasn't a gamble.
Right.
So it was more important for me to express myself musically than it was to make any money on this adventure because I've never been about the money. If anyone who knows me knows I can't manage my money. As soon as my money goes to nigga, it's never been about money. It's been about being a musician and all that type of stuff. So when we made the deal with John, it was very easy for him to make that deal with me. When he went to make a deal with Poison, suddenly it was like, well, we want this and we want that and we want that, and I don't think that John wanted to go that high.
Did you ever know somebody that just constantly drops names of people they know on you, like that makes them more important than you or something? Believe it or not, sometimes recording artists, and pretty well-known ones for that matter, will do the same thing. Here's one of my good friends in the business, Chips Enough, doing just that. He's name-dropping like crazy here on this little interview clip.
You know, there's nothing. I went to go see Kiss on tour, and Paul Stanley came up to me and he says, man, that album is a classic.
Which one, 7?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And I talked to Robin Zander, and he goes, Donnie V, my favorite singer in rock.
Cool.
And Neil Sean from Journey just loves the band beyond belief. And then I'm listening and find out all these bands are covering our songs now.
Oh, cool.
I hear the Wild Hearts just recorded Time to Let You Go over in Europe.
Oh, cool.
There's a rumor going around that there's Radiohead wants to record one of the songs. The Radiohead's a pretty big band.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'm hearing these groups, and I'm going, you sure these people want to play and write with us? And Steve Stevens just did a song in Europe, just put it out on a solo album. Donnie and him wrote together.
Jeez.
And the Nelsons recorded 2 of our songs. It's on their new album, Imaginator.
Okay.
So that makes me happy.
Yeah, I hear that.
You know, last year Jerry Maguire.
Yeah.
Cool. ESPN and X Games for the Olympics. We were in that.
Yeah.
For Wheels. And, slowly but surely we're spreading ourselves out there, letting people hear our music. And we're real thankful that fans have stuck with us.
That's
cool. We're getting some new ones.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
The absurd things that some of these artists say is just funny sometimes. I mean, hysterical funny. Here's 2 clips that I find to be some of the funniest stuff I've got. The first one is Nancy Sirianni, Jackie Martling from the Howard Stern Show's wife. She had a band called Big Orange Marble. I'm sure all of you have that CD. Anyway, here's her saying that she's gonna be huge, and me kind of laughing at her. Followed by the second quote is Rob from Machine Head. Now in this one, this was Rob talking about his album The Burning Red. And in this quote, he talks about how incredibly average certain bands are and why they're going to be bigger than them, or why he hopes they're going to be bigger than them in the near future. Check these 2 clips out. They're just silly.
Once you guys get the project, recorded and out, what are you guys planning on doing? Is it going to be mostly a local type of tour and playing around New York, or is it going to?
No, this one we expect is going to have a hit like Jewel. No, I'm serious.
Hey, that's good.
I mean, we've sold 500,000 twice in a row now, and that's killer.
Yeah,
I'm totally happy with
especially
that.
For extreme music. That's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah,
it's basically you and Pantera, and that's it, right? As selling those kind of numbers.
Pretty much, and I really want to. I really want more. I really want to take this to that next level with this record.
Yeah.
And not to say that we've made our sound more commercial or whatever, but I'm definitely we're really actively going for that type of radio stuff.
Yeah.
I hear incredibly average bands like Godsmack being played on the radio, and I really think that a band like us could totally be on there.
Now this one is just plain funny. Here's Randy Trask, MBL writer, every 80s metal band groupie, wannabe rock star. In fact, we call him the rock star. Now Randy was filling in for me on an interview with Bret Michaels from Poison, or so he thought. Unfortunately, I forgot to call the publicist and say, hey, there's been a change in who's doing the interview. The funny thing here is when Randy gets on the line with this publicist, he's so amped to interview Bret Michaels that he just goes out of his way to tell her anything he can to get the interview done once she figures out that it's not me on the phone. Check it out, it's pretty funny. Here's Randy trying to lie to a publicist to get a Poison interview.
I'm here for Chris. You calling for Brett?
Yes?
I'm the guy then.
Oh, okay. I thought Chris was going to be doing the interview.
He had to work, so he handed it over to me. But
okay, and may I ask your name?
My name's Randy.
And what's your last name?
Randy Trask.
Okay. And do you have the materials that I had forwarded to Chris?
I don't believe, no, he didn't give me anything. I've heard Crack a Smile. Georgetta, did Chris have anything to give to me as far as stuff that was sent to him? Poison stuff? I don't believe. But I know what's going on as far as the tour, and I'm updated on all the Poison stuff. And
well, have you heard the new record that I sent Chris?
No, but I'm on the classic metal show every Saturday night, and I was gonna probably get a copy of it off. I've heard Crack a Smile, but I haven't heard the new record because.
But the interview is about the June record, not about Crack a Smile. So, did you get the press release about the June record and all the information about it?
No, I didn't.
No. Then we're going to have to postpone the interview because I need for you to have that information before you do the interview. That's why I
new information on the new record.
A package to Chris.
I see this. I'm wondering if this is it here.
What?
I see a package here, but it's made out to him, so I didn't want to open it.
Who's it from?
For Virgin Records.
Well, but Poison's not on Virgin.
Right, they're on their Cyanide.
Yeah, and I FedExed the package last week.
Right, and I know he has the CD because he was going to bring it down to the radio show. And
yeah, but the thing is that the information that I had provided plus the record, the reason I FedExed it to him was so that he could listen to it and read the information before he did the phoner with Brett, as opposed to having no information and doing the phoner with Brett.
I understand. Well,
so it doesn't really work out for us for you not to have those materials.
Well, I pretty much know everything that's going on with Brett as far.
You haven't heard the new music and you haven't read the press release with the information about it.
Right. You'd rather have me hear the new music and read the press release.
So that's why I FedExed the package last week.
Could I give you a number to contact Chris at work right now? You could get a hold of him and confirm everything, and he'd let you know that I know everything that's going on.
Well, yeah, but I don't doubt that. But the bottom line is, in as much as that is a factual statement, you are also lacking having heard the record and the information that I provided regarding the record.
Right, and
so that is the reason for doing the interview. Without you having that information, it doesn't behoove us to do the interview until you have it.
I understand. I completely understand. I don't have the information at this time. I don't know where it's at. But I can give you a number to contact Chris, and maybe he can give you a little more information about.
So go ahead and give me his number, and I'll call him and explain to him why we can't do the phoner until whoever's doing it has that information.
He might even have the info on him, and he can just go ahead and do it. It's 440-954-5716.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Here's a great little short clip. Here's Tom Kiefer from Cinderella proving that he doesn't follow the music industry around him at all.
So there's not much chance that we'll be seeing Fred Durst appearing in one of your videos, just to get on.
Who's that?
From Limp Bizkit.
You see how out of touch I am. That's funny, man.
For the most part, when most of us look at music, we look at it as a fun thing. A lot of us get a good feeling, or we're just into the vibe and it gets us pumped up or whatever, but we look at it as a fun thing. But for a lot of these artists, especially the old-timers, it's not quite such a fun thing. It has brutal memories, it has painful memories. Case in point, here's blues legend Buddy Guy with MBL's Randy Aller. Now, Randy asked him a simple question, allegedly, thinking, hey, buddy, why don't you put a guitar into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? After listening to this clip, I think you'll realize that to Buddy it wasn't just a simple thing of getting some praise by being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Here's Buddy Guy.
We have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland.
Yes.
And since you've influenced so many rock and roll players,
yes,
you should donate one of your guitars.
No, I'm holding my guitar for the...
You're going to hold them tightly?
No, I'm holding it for the Blues Museum.
Are they going to build one?
I don't know. I'm talking to people about it because I think Chicago should have the same type of thing on blues musicians that they have in Cleveland, because I was in Cleveland about 4 or 5 years ago, And this great guitar player made a lot of blues records. Robert Jr. Lockwood walked in my dressing room and said, I'm taking your bottle of whiskey and I'm going to drink it because I got a question I want to ask you. He said, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is here. And they run around talking about who invented rock and roll. And he said, I bet you don't even know. And I say, yes, I do. And I sit down and flop down, and he looked and drank the whiskey. He said, man, you never would, you know, but you wouldn't. You just like the rest of them. He said, Louis Jordan was playing rock and roll before Elvis was born. And it hit me in the back of the head, and I said, well, I'll be damned. And I put this Saturday Night Fish Fry on the CD you're talking about now, Heavy Love, and he was playing that beat music before anybody that I know. And if we could get a blues Hall of Fame museum, I would be the happiest man alive.
Well, you know what?
Some of those people named what they mentioned there, man. I don't think they had Arthur Crudup. I don't think they had Lightning Hopkins. Maybe they did, but I know they got Muddy Waters guitar, but it wasn't a big thing. Like, they was giving credit to all these people who have told you where they got it from. And it's just like the Ford car. I don't care how they change the style, the F-O-R-D still in front of it.
Yeah.
And behind.
Well, we hope you get your blues hall.
Well, I can't do it by myself, though, man. That's why I'm saying, you know, you need a lot of help to make something like that happen.
Bands talking shit about other bands. God, do I love that. You guys just don't realize how much I like it when one band just starts literally cracking on another one. And nothing, and I do mean nothing, made me more happy than when Corey from Slipknot just decided to unleash on the boys from Mushroomhead. Now, let me set the scenario for you. It was very well known that there was a lot of talk around town, and I'll say it for the record, I don't know who started the talk, but there was a lot of talk that said that Slipknot was put together based on Mushroomhead's image and look. So I just decided, hey, what the hell, I'm going to ask Corey about it and see what Corey has to say. Needless to say, I don't think he liked the question too much. Here's Corey's answer to that question.
I just want to dispel a rumor, which you can quickly dispel, but there's a band here called Mushroomhead. And they were courted by Roadrunner as well. And they basically the rumor that's running around this town, whether it's created by them or not, I don't know, is that you guys basically were put together by Roadrunner off of their idea. Big joke?
That's a total joke. No, we heard about that when we were at Ozfest, and it pissed us off, but then we realized, like, we got nothing to fucking hide from. We got nothing to fear. Why would we let that get to us? Because we knew where we come from.
That's cool.
We knew how we got together. We knew how we did this. Roadrunner didn't fucking put us together. You can't just put something like this together.
Yeah.
You know? We've all been in fucking bands together, like, through the years and shit. We got sick and tired of fucking working our asses off for nothing. So we all got together and was like, look, let's make the biggest fucking noise possible. So I don't want to cut anybody down in the Mushroomhead clan, but it sounds like they're scared because they know what's up. We're the real deal, and they want to talk shit. So all I'll do is I'd say that the music fucking does the talking for it, and so does the live show. A lot of Mushroomhead fans who came to the fucking Columbus show actually started like following us like the next two fucking Ozfests. They came to Columbus wanting to hate us, and they ended up fucking buying our t-shirt, going out and buying the album. We sat and talked to them for a long time. They're like, man, you know what? They do nothing but talk shit on you guys. You know, you guys fucking rule. All I gotta say is the proof is in the fucking pudding. If you can't handle it, step the fuck up and get real, because nobody's gonna smell your bullshit anymore.
And if you didn't quite figure out Corey's true feelings about Mushroomhead from that little clip, at the very end of the interview I just decided to ask Corey to cut a quick radio ID for the WMMS Metal Show. Here's what Corey had to say.
This is Corey from Slipknot, not Mushroomhead, fucking Slipknot. You're listening to WMMS on 100.7, The Metal Show. Crank the shit.
There's times that I listen back to my interviews and I just say, Jesus Christ, man, what is wrong with you? How in the hell could you have asked that question? Here's a really good one. This is me asking the metal god, Rob Halford, if the reason he doesn't sell records anymore is because he came out as a homosexual. Yeah, I asked it, and he answered it. It's just amazing to me that I asked it. Here's Rob Halford.
Part of the
thing that happened with 2, I don't want to keep going back to 2 so much, but was that you came out with your homosexuality at that point.
Yes, I did.
Now, do you think that could be equally as much a part of why 2 didn't take off as was the fact that it was so drastically different?
I think it was just a drastic difference in the music more than anything, Chris.
Okay.
I think, as you said earlier, there's, and as I said, you know, there's always this expectation and apprehension of what Rob's doing next. And when I made that record, it was such a curveball for a lot of people. They, you know, they either accepted it and enjoyed it, or they were confused by it, or they just flat out hated it. You know?
Right.
The sexuality issue. I don't really know what role that played in it, but of course that should have been a complete and not a separate part of my music.
Right.
My music world, but of course it has to be tied in because, you know, that's me, that's my life, that's my work.
It's part of being a public person.
Yeah, exactly. But it was just that one part of me that I finally wanted to release and let go of, and I was happy to do that for all of my own personal reasons. And the good thing about it, apart from me kind of letting myself out of my own little prison, was the wonderful support and feedback that I got from everybody all over the world. I just got tremendous support, and it made me feel good.
Definitely. Do you think that there'll be any negative feedback for? I mean, now you're going back to doing what has always been Rob Halford. You know, do you think? I mean, I don't know how to put this. Metalheads are a lot of times very machismo oriented. I guess not for lack of a better term. Do you think that it'll affect fans coming back, the fans that walked away with 2?
No, I think that my fans are very cool, intelligent people.
That's cool.
And I don't think that they're going to let the sexual issue conflict with their love of the music. I think that they are intelligent enough to see it as being something as what it is, something that's been that way always. It's not something that's, you know, suddenly happened and been overnight. I mean, that's the way I've always been. And I think a lot of people made the assumption there anyway, and those that didn't know now know, and they're all going, well, we couldn't really care less, Rob, because it's just about the music, you know.
Exactly.
It's about you, it's about the voice, it's about the show. And to be quite frank, Chris, people that do have such a problem with it, who are obviously bigoted, I don't really want them as fans or supporters anyway.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It should be about what they hear on the record.
Absolutely.
Not what they read in the tabloids.
Yep.
Maybe that Halford homosexual question wasn't enough to convince you that I'll ask some crazy, outrageous things of these musicians from time to time. Well, here's one that definitely takes the cake. Let me set this one up for you because this was an interesting call. I got the opportunity to interview rap legend Ice Cube. Now, the interview was not the normal interview where I would get on the phone with him and talk for 20 minutes. Basically, it was a very large conference call back when Ice Cube was touring with Korn on the Family Values tour. They got, I think, 45 journalists on the line, and each journalist was allowed 2 questions. So I was given number 36. So I waited and waited and waited, and the questions were ridiculous for Ice Cube. Gee, dude, if you could step out of your body, what advice would you give yourself? I mean, just nonsense. I mean, this is Ice Cube, rapper. Fuck the police, you know. Ice Cube. So everybody's getting all serious, and this interview goes on and on and on for about an hour or so before it becomes my turn to speak with the Cube. So as usual, I come off with just something completely outrageous and just kind of bring the interview process to a standstill. Skip over the first question that I ask him because that's just kind of a generic one. It's more of a setup. But that second question that I asked him is a doozy. Here's me with Ice Cube.
How you doing, Cube?
All right.
Hey, I'm just trying to find out whatever happened to that rumored reunion with Ren Dre and Yella.
Dr. Dre don't want to do it.
He doesn't want to do it at all?
Nope.
Okay.
Why, I don't know. I haven't talked to him in 8 months.
Okay.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, second question. On Lethal Injection, I can't remember which song it was, but you were particularly harsh towards female groupies, and most specifically white female groupies.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you're going out on what's going to be basically an all suburban white tour, does that stance still stay?
Well, I'm a married man. I ain't worried about groupies no more.
Oh. That's cool. Thanks, Q.
All right.
I have to admit it. One of the things that I do with Music's Bottom Line is I try to use it from time to time to make me quote-unquote Dad of the Year when it comes to my kids. You know, I mean, it's very obvious to anybody that's ever read Music's Bottom Line that I am a metal guy, a hard rock metal dude. Yet, my kids are 11 and 9, and they're into the stuff that 11 and 9-year-old kids are into. NSYNC, Britney Spears, Hanson, etc. Well, I had the chance to interview Hanson at one point, and I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put my son, who is a Hanson junkie, on the phone with the guys. Little did I know that my son Michael was a chip off the old block who, after about 30, 40 seconds with Isaac Hanson, decided he was bored with him and didn't want to talk to him anymore. Check out my son Michael dissing Hanson.
Hi, what's your name?
This is Isaac. Hey, Michael, how are you?
Good. Yeah, I like your music.
Well, thank you. Glad you like it.
What?
Glad you like the music. That's cool.
Okay. I had to be we were almost to the top seat once you played.
Oh, yeah?
We're going to see you play this year, too.
Cool. Excellent.
What?
Well, I hope you enjoy the show when you come and see us.
I am.
Okay, cool. You know, we have a little brother, too. He's 6 years old. Are you 7?
Yeah.
You're 7. Cool. Well, he's pretty close to your age.
What's his name?
His name is Mackenzie.
Mackenzie?
Yeah, but we call him Mac.
That's a good name.
Yeah. Well, Michael's a good name, too.
Can I talk to Zach?
Zach is actually, he's doing something right this second, but he might come onto the phone in just a second. Your dad might have to pass it back to him when he comes.
Okay.
Okay?
What's Taylor doing?
Taylor is also in another room right now.
Okay, you can talk to my dad a little phone.
Oh, okay. Well, nice to talk to you, Michael.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
You've heard the saying, open mouth, insert foot, right? Well, clearly NBL's Unscarred has. Here's him doing just that with David from Disturbed.
Rachel Hunter. I heard a rumor that Rachel Hunter was not known to date, but had been seen with somebody in the band. Is there any truth to that?
You're becoming quite the legend on Metal Sludge. I'm sure that's where it came from. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen any of that stuff on their site, but
I don't. I try not to look at those sites too much because they, believe only, half of what you hear, right. A quarter of what you read. So, I think there's one statement on there that says during Ozfest I would have as many as 6 or 7 girls a day. I mean, I can't. Human beings can't function at that level. And I've never had a day, one day, when I've had 6 or 7 women in a day.
Right.
I think my balls would shrivel up and creep back into my body. I mean, it's just not possible. After a while, it's not fun anymore. No, I don't know what the fuck that's all about. It's always fun. But, it's not that kind of vibe for me. I don't really... I love women.
Right.
I love women.
Right.
But I try to make it a habit not to just be with anyone.
Right.
I have to, have a certain vibe, and I try and pay, all of them as much attention as I feel that they deserve.
That's cool. It's not the rock star thing.
No. I mean, it is in a way, just because, I grant you that, I'm not exclusive to any one of them. But they understand that, and I'm totally upfront and honest with them about it.
Right.
I don't bullshit people.
Sure.
If they want to have a part of me that I can give them, then, great. And if they don't, and that's also
great,
great.
too.
I hear you.
The effects of drug use. I can't tell you how many times I've been backstage and seen this in full form, whether it's guys snorting coke or smoking pot or whatever they're doing. You know, half the time I don't even want to look and see what they're doing. But it's amazing to me how many of these guys in this business actually do. Here's one guy that I've never seen do it, but I know is a notorious former drug user, CC DeVille. Check CC out trying to do some simple radio spots, but just not quite being able to get the words clear in his mind on what to say. It's pretty funny. Here's CC DeVille.
Hey, CC, before you go, can I get you to cut a spot for a radio station real quick?
Sure.
I got two spots I need. One is for the Classic Metal Show.
Right.
It's on WSTB in Streetsboro.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Hey, this is CC DeVille, and I'm listening to WSTB in Streetsboro, the Classic Metal Shop.
Cool. And the second one is just MBL Radio. No call, nothing.
This is CC DeVille, and we're watching and listening and experiencing LMB Radio.
One more time, CC. MBL.
Oh, MBL.
Yeah.
Hi, this is CC DeVille, and you are experiencing MBL Radio.
Okay, you're the co-host of a metal show. Hard-driving, spine-grinding metal show on a big corporate rock station. And you're looking for something interesting and unique to do on that show. If you could pick one person out that you could just stumble into roaming around town, not having anything to do with the show, but just being there that you can ask to come up to the show, who would it be for a metal show? Kerry King from Slayer, maybe? Well, that's just what happened. Check it out.
100.7 WMMS, it's the metal show. And, Chris?
Hey!
Hello over there.
How's it going?
You've pulled some pretty random stuff in your time. Some of which I've forgiven you for, and some of which I haven't, and some of which I never will, but, you know, it's all good.
I think you'll forgive me for this one, though, won't you?
This is pretty random.
I'll say this is random, but it's very cool for our show.
Who did you bring with you tonight?
I just happened to stagger across Kerry King from Slayer, roaming around downtown.
Now, that's a pretty random occurrence.
I'll say.
Welcome to the show, man.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
What's up, dude?
Yeah, glad you could make it up with us.
I think it's pretty cool that you're trying to dupe all these people and make them think I'm Kerry King or something.
Yeah, well, you know, we do what we can to try to, you know, impress the kids.
Don't buy it.
So definitely, you know, making them think that we have Kerry King from Slayer in studio would be a pretty good move.
Well, I could totally blow this off and make them believe that I'm no one, but I did bring that disc, so I'm kind of...
Yeah, I don't think you can really make up unreleased Slayer.
Yeah,
that's pretty hard to do.
It'd be impressive.
Yeah, it would be, but I don't think it could be done.
I don't know.
There's only one Slayer, and
I
he's
think we got
right
the real,
here.